Hello and welcome to this software installation video for Windows operating system. These are the tools that you will need for course 1, which is Ruby, Rails, Git, Phantom.js, and Sublime Text. So the first three, Ruby, Rails, and Git, can be installed as one single package by going to railsinstaller.org, and the other two tools that we need can be installed by going to Phantom.js and the Sublime Text URL. And I'll walk you through these websites to complete the installation process. So in order to install Ruby, Rails, and Git as a package, you can go to railsinstaller.org, and if you scroll down, you will see that you have the options to install for both Windows and Mac. And we will go with Windows, Ruby 2.1, and these are all the software that are packaged with this download, which is Ruby, Rails, Bundler, Git, and so on. And this is the latest at the time of the video. And then if things change, or if you are downloading this at a later time, and this might be updated, so you will go and get the latest one. So let's download the Windows package by clicking on Ruby 2.1. And you will have the option for saving, just like any other install. So click on save and then complete the installation process. So once the download is complete, you will see the executable, and you can install this by just double clicking on this and accepting all the defaults and completing the installation. So I'll just select all the defaults. And this is the default directory that it will get installed to. And as you can see, you will also get, you have the option of installing Ruby, Git, and so on. And default is selected, and just select this. If you already have Git, or if you already have other tools, you have the option of unselecting or unchecking this, but this is the default. So to complete the installation, click on install, and this should install in a directory called Rails installer. So on successful installation, you should see a directory called C:\Rails installer, assuming you selected this as the default. But again, you have the option of installing at any place, and you will see the following subdirectories or folders underneath Rails installer. Now, before we test to make sure our installation went through, we need to make one small update. As you can see, with this installation, we got Rails 4.1, but what we need for this course is 4.2.3. so you can do a quick update to get the latest 4.2.3 by doing a gem install Rails-v 4.2.3. so this should install the latest that we need for this course. Once the installation is done, you can always go back and make sure our Git, Ruby, and Rails is all good to go. So let's check the Git to make sure Git is all good. So we got Git 194, which is good enough for this course. Next, let's do Ruby and Rails. So as you can see, Ruby is 2.0 and Rails is 4.2.3. So we are good to go with Ruby, Rails, and Git. Let's go and install the Phantom.js and Sublime Text next. Phantom.js is an extremely simple install. So all you need to do is go to phantomjs.org, and you will see the option to download. You can just click on download and just save it to a directory of your choice. So when you click on the download link, you have the option for installing for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and we'll go with Windows. So it's a zip file, so you can either open it and drag and drop it to your directory, or you can simply save and then unzip the file. So here is the so here is the zip file. So you should be able to just drag and drop this directory into a directory of your choice. So in my case, I have the zip file that was downloaded, just dragged and dropped it here. So so this is where it is currently installed. You can navigate to the bin directory, and that's where you have phantomjs.executable. Now, one important thing is, since this is something that you will need from any other directory or from command prompt in general, you will have to go and add this to your path. Basically add the executable or the bin directory to be part of your environment variable path, so that you will be able to install, you will be able to invoke this executable anywhere. So let's go and do that next. So let's go and add the environment variable. So we need to go and find the path. So you can do a search and find your environment variables for your account, and there it is. That's the path, and we need to edit this, and I already have this. So basically all you need to do is go to the end of the path variable and add a semicolon, as you can see here, and copy and paste the directory of the installation. Right, so we installed it here. So we basically need this directory, c:, the installation of the phantomjs, the bin directory. So you can copy this and then paste it all the way at the end. So that's pretty much all you need. And then do an OK, and then close the window, and you should be able to open a brand new command window and then try the command. Okay, so let's open a new window, and let's give it a try. And if you type phantomjs-v, you don't have to be in that directory. You should be able to see the installation that you just did, right? So this is a very important step. And any other environment variable that you need to add throughout this course, the steps are exactly what I showed in Windows operating system. You just have to search for edit environment variable, go to that screen, pick up the path, go to the end, add a semicolon, and then do the appropriate changes that you need to do. Right. Finally, the last thing we need to do is install Sublime Text, which is a really nice editor, a very simple editor to use with Ruby on Rails. And this is something that will be used throughout this specialization, pretty much in most of the course, or all of the courses. So let's go to the website, sublimetext.com. So this is the URL, sublimetext.com, and there is a link on the top called download. And again, it's a fairly simple install. So as you can see, it supports all of the different operating systems. And depending on your Windows 32 or 64, you can pick the appropriate, and it's an executable. So just select the exe of your choice, and then you can do a save and run the exe. So pick a directory of your choice, and you should be able to complete the installation. Once you've successfully installed, you should be able to launch your editor. So you should be able to find it right there, Sublime Text, and just bring it up. So that completes all the necessary tools that we need for this course. Now, one final thing we need to do is to make sure that the Rails installation was all good. And let's try to bring up the Rails and then go to the URL, localhost :3000, just to make sure Rails is all good to go and we can access the main page, right? So let's go and do that. So to test the Rails, open a command window and type the command, as you can see on the screen, Rails new test_install. Now all of these commands will be explained a lot more in depth once you start the course, but for now just type this command so that you will know whether the installation was all good to go. So it will go and create a bunch of directories, and as I said, ignore it for now. You will be given a lot more depth, a lot more information on this as you start the course, right? So once the installation is done, you will get back the prompt, and let's go into that directory that we just created. So the directory was called test install. So let's go inside that. Now let's start the Rails server. the command is very simple. It's Rails server. So you should see the server starting up, and as you can see, the URL, the default URL is localhost 3000. So let's go to the URL and check to make sure that everything is good. So as you can see, we can get to the main page. This is the Rails main page. You can also click on the About Your Applications environment. This will give you a lot more detail on what was installed. So as you can see, it's 423. That's the Ruby and you know, the Ruby gems and so on. So this is all good, and this is pretty much all you need to continue with the course, work on the examples and assignments and all that. So just to wrap up the installation process, so what you did in this quick lesson was to install Ruby, Rails, and Git as part of the Ruby as part of the railsinstaller.org, and then we also installed 2 additional things that we need. One was the Phantom.js and then the IDE. Although you have the option of using any other editor of your choice, Sublime Text is highly preferred for Ruby on Rails. So that completes this video for installation on Windows. If you need additional information on installing on any other operating system like Mac or Linux and so on, please check out the other videos. Thank you.